How you doing, everybody? Um, gonna be, I'll be right back. I gotta put out some announcements, and this is going to be our last live talk. Hey, Mark, how you doing? David, how are you? Whoops. Sound and video okay, guys? How's it going? Hi, Eric. Hi, HRM. Hi. Oh, I had your name right. Dimitri. How you doing? Happy New Year. Almost. Hey, David, what's up? I couldn't make it through the end of the year without one more purchase last night. A Zenith Captain Windsor. Sounds like fun. El Primero chronograph. All right. Calendar module by Ludwig. Oh, wow. Ochlan, that's fantastic. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? Hobby, how are you? Okay. Glad you could come by. Hang on, let me get some more irresponsibles to join us, and you guys think of a topic that we have for today, okay? Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm here, but I'll be right back. Okay, get a couple more of these out there. So we want all the irresponsibles with us today. Okay, we're all set. What do you got here? Hi, Michael. Hi, Paul. Finally made a live one. You did, Paul. HRM picked up a titanium Hamilton khaki field. There's something about that khaki field watch I just really like. That Hamilton field watch. I don't know. It just sounds like a fun watch. I like the looks of it too. Let me get. By the way, too, people have been saying, "Oh, you don't tell you what watch you're wearing." This is my Chanel Monsieur with a caliber Chanel one. Jumping hours and retrograde minutes. Okie doke. Hi, Finnegan. Happy New Year 2025 from Brisbane. Oh, hey, it's probably 2025 over there already. Is it yet? I mean, are you guys tomorrow already? Hi, Jose. How are you doing? Apologies in advance for any typos. I broke my hand on Christmas Eve. Oh, Jesus. Well, that's what happens. When you slug Santa messing with your wife, that can often happen, Andrew. I know what it's like. Oh, sorry, man. How'd you bust your hand? Every time I hit my hand, all of a sudden I got this big purple thing on there. What happened? Come on, we need a good story. Yes, it's 2 a.m. on the 1st of January. Hey, Happy New Year today. It's New Year's. I'm going to a New Year's party tomorrow, not tonight. If there was anything, probably a good thing. I always make bad choices when I go to parties. Hey, Doc. Glad to catch the show. Oh, I'm by Tokyo and always miss live shows. Oh, wow. 107. Happy New Year to you, too. Hey, great. Hey, GC. Andrew had accidentally met solid walnut North. Oh, God. Yeah, I know. You know what? It scares the bejesus out of me is I love snow, but man, I tell you, the ice that goes with it, there's a good way to break everything. Just go all of a sudden it happens so fast. All of a sudden you hit wham and you're down. So I'm careful about ice. Um, so you be careful about oak doors too, or walnut doors. That I could understand. Some guy blew up my letterbox with fireworks. Wasn't me. I haven't done that in years. That wasn't me. What a long, long time ago. Oh man. Well, today I was surprised how much stuff I got. I received 2 invoices and paid a bill and did all kinds of stuff. Last of the year. Yesterday we went and paid our local taxes. I mean, nothing but a fun time for us. No, actually, we have a day today. It's a beautiful day. Yesterday and today, yesterday almost broke records. I think it was like 60 something degrees. I hear these guys who live on, in places like Key West. Oh, well, that was our low. So, okay, so what do we got to look out for in 2024? I got my stuff all picked out, and then I keep changing my mind. How about you guys? Anything on your list of what you'd want? Or anything going on you think that's important in the watchmaking world? Ah, an Ophion. Yes. Hey, Damon. Compared to the guys in Asia, we're living in the past. No kidding. Yeah, we're hello from yesterday, and hello tomorrow. Hi, Abdul. How you doing? There's a number of a super good deal on Ophion. Opium watches have been one of my inspirations. What they did a long time ago, I don't know how long, about 5-6 years ago now. They worked with Soprod, I think, and Soprod somehow got Teletime, and they used one of their movements, and then they have these really cool watches. So I like those guys a lot. Happy New Year from Singapore. Hi, Benjamin. Good to hear from you. You need to come to Cabo. Is really nice here. Yeah, Cabo San Lucas. I would imagine. I used to fly down to the Baja. Most of the time I went down. We had this. I was with Flying Samaritans. We'd go down to the Baja. There was a place on the border called I think it was Jesus Maria. And that was a town. And there was another one called, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, but a friend of mine he was a physics professor, I think. Anyway, he wanted to see the total eclipse, and so I flew him and his girlfriend down to La Paz, and we landed in the airport, and we saw a total eclipse. We didn't get down to Cabo San Lucas. One guy flying back from Cabo San Lucas wasn't funny. He ran out of gas. We were all coming into where was it? Mexicali. That's on the Mexican side, and then Calexico's on the American side. So we were flying back. So this guy uh, behind us, he wanted to change his destinations from Brown Field, which is in San Diego, or actually I think Chula Vista, and go to Mexicali. And I figured, well, he's going to land and do what we were thinking of doing, buy some cheap gas, and before we flew back to the U.S. Well, he kept going down and down, and he ran out of gas on the way back from Cabo San Lucas and crashed. And it wasn't a happy ending. But anyway, that's my only Cabo story. I should have a better one than that. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what else is going on? Finnegan, you really like the Defy Revival as orange. Oh, that sounds neat. My favorite orange diver is what's that called? The DACA. Love that. I don't know why, but I do. I just think those are great watches. Okay. What else is going on? Hey, Abdul, been hearing fireworks from Stop since I came back home. Some people like burning their money. Yeah, like watch collectors. HRM. Let's see. Oh, I went to Grand Seiko store yesterday. I also think about the brand, but for some reason I never buy. I think I want to buy, but that's an interesting thing. There's something I understand. There's Seikos. I have one Seiko. I have my Seiko 5 and love my Seiko 5, but I don't know what it is. And a friend of mine got a really nice Seiko. Beautiful watch. They make good watches. They have good horology, good everything. I don't know. Okay. Still can find incredible deals on pre-owned Grand Seikos. Even a new Evolution 9 model sell for around 50% of their retail. Sounds good to me. Hey, Benjamin Young. Oh, you say that as a watch collector. I doubt you're any better when it comes to spending your hard-earned dollars. You tell him, Benjamin. Stephen, good morning. Happy New Year to you too. Okay, what else is going on? Hi, Abens 92. How you doing? Schimmel S, how are you? Hi, 911 Euro. No watch purchased this past year, but on the lookout for 2025. What are you looking at, 911? What looks good? We can't have fireworks in Australia privately. We can't be trusted, apparently. Listen, there people like me is why they don't give it to private parties. I love fireworks, playing with them, but I probably burn down the state if I had them. When I lived in California, my God, everything burned just looking at it. At least it did where I live. Well, Doc, what's up? Let's see. What happened to Doc? He said something, then it disappeared. Uh, I'm aiming to burn my money into Hanhart Blue and Red soon. Okay. Plus two other Lyriques. I can afford one other one. I can hardly wait till I get it too. Well, actually, there's two of them that are outstanding right now. Doc, I have 3 Grand Seikos, the Omniwatai quartz, and the numbers they use. I like to have just the names, Doc. GMT. I wouldn't mind adding more, but they tend to look the same. Same dive window, same hands. People have said that about Rolex too. Happy New Year's, Jonathan. How are you? Okay, Doc. I appreciate correcting. Good God, I'll tell you, I had in publishing, I used to these copy editors and all of these different editors, edit. I tell you, I was grateful to most of them. Every now and then, I get a editor that wasn't had no idea what what were they called? A syn a syntaxal expletive. You know, I said, "Don't change those to syntaxal expletives." And what's that? Oh, let's see. Hey, Rustum. Happy New Year to you too. Hey, Watch Monkey. I know you're not into chronographs, but what are your thoughts on the vintage 1970s Seiko chronographs? You know, I tell you, um, probably shouldn't say this because it's probably not true, but with one exception, all the chronographs are pretty much the same as far as I'm concerned. I know there's more than that, but one chronograph I would love to have is the one that well, there are three of them who have it: Singer, Fabergé, and H. Moser. Probably of those three, I'd really like to have the H. Moser chronograph with the achengraph movement, but that's there are about 40,000 reasons that they gave me I can't have one. So none of those for me. But if you like chronographs, that's great. Yeah, I tell you, Abdu, I am too. I'm more excited about number 4 because so, you you got the helm on that one, Abdu. It's in good hands too. Hi, Gilda Rays. Oh, you got an Armin Strom. Oh, great. Way too deep in the rabbit hole. Well, at least you're there with a good rabbit and a lot of other rabbits. I also like the Handheart. Yeah, those are cool chronos. The timepiece gentleman was found guilty, sentenced in January. Oh, that guy? Yeah. Oh my God. Well, he's probably not the only one that belongs. But I don't know why more people didn't see that coming. I have no idea. Like this guy comes out of prison and tells everyone, I'm all for giving somebody who screws up a second chance. And God knows if I got caught for everything I did during my salad years, I'd probably still be in jail. But the the one thing that I think is important, is there are even reasons for some of the most heinous crimes. I mean, somebody gets mad enough, somebody does something really rotten to somebody, and they get shot because of that. But to lie and cheat, I don't know why that bothers me more. I only lie and cheat to my spouse. Otherwise, that's okay. Like, does this make me look fat? Not at all. Those, that's the only time I have to. Okay, enough about that. All right, let's see what else is going on. Hey, see, Damon, the timepiece gentleman's found guilty in sentencing in January, maximum of 20 years. Man, I tell you, I don't know. He's been to jail before, and it was, I think he probably could have made some money. I mean, he could have worked it through, but there was some videos. He went to Las Vegas and was throwing down like $15,000 on a bet and lost it. I mean, you're gonna you go to Vegas and do that, you're gonna lose money. And so he lost the money, I guess, for the watches and sort of ended up embezzling himself. As Bugs Bunny would say, what a maroon. Okay, Richard, what do you got? My pleasure. La Costa della Zozia. Oh, wow. Currently in Rio, awaiting the fireworks and party later. Wow, that sounds like fun. Hey, Bella. H. Moser is absolutely incredible. Not going to get an argument from me. Hi, Joe. Oh, that's Jose. I'm sorry. My wife bought me an auction, a Gronfield 1941 Remontois. Oh my goodness, what a great wife, Jose. That's a watch that would be wonderful to have. Rutum Mongas Sneak Chronograph is great too. No kidding. Now I like the Mongas Sneak Monet Gas. That's one watch that I want that I can't pronounce right. Anyway, it's a Roger Dubuis. Love that watch a whole lot. And I sold my other Roger Dubuis, and I need to fill that gap. The Armstrong Gravity Equal Force are wonderful. I was close to getting the Topper edition, but couldn't sell two watches. Yeah, Doc, I tell you, I got the same thing coming up. There are a couple watches that I love, but I got to sell to get the other one of the same model, but I'm not telling you what it is. Not the same model, but the same brand. Yes, that's also sounds pretty responsible rather than just going out and taking juniors college tuition and blowing it on a watch. HRM, there's also a really nice Roger Dubuis Excalibur dive watch for sale in Japan, only 2,700. Wow, that sounds really good. Check everything about it, make sure it's not a quartz or 22 millimeters. But wow, that is a good deal. Where did you see that? Excalibur dive watch, Roger B. Boy, that is a that is a super good deal. HRM, why don't you get it? RM, how you doing? Do you think a watch like JLC Rendezvous Dazzling Shooting Star will drop in value? It won't drop in value, and we don't talk. It does things don't drop in value. They drop or raise in price. Okay, I sold a watch recently that went up in price. The way I lose money is use a watch on a trade-in. You want to lose money quick, trade in your watch, and you'll lose money. I guarantee it. But as far as prices going up, I don't know. A Rendezvous, isn't that a woman's watch, RM? I'm not sure. 94K new? Hoping I can get used to one for less. A used one for less. 94,000 for a Rendezvous? Or is it 9,400 for a Rendezvous? A dazzling shooting star. My God, that thing must be full of diamonds. But it sounds interesting. Abdul, let's see. The dual chronograph configuration is the only chronograph I like. The simple, symmetrical, clean design. If you're going to get a chronograph, I think that would be one. The other one, well, the first one would be the H. Moser one, the one with the Agenggraph movement. I really like that. I tell you, watch I really, really, really like, but they're expensive, and I'm hoping to find one. If you guys find one and it's at a good price, but you don't want it, let me know. It's a Fabergé DTZ for dual time zone. The movement was made by Agenor, and it's a cool watch because it's got right in the center. There's a number for your dual time zone, or I guess you could use that as for your local time zone. Either one. Very cool watch. I would love to have. Bella, let's see, Finnegan. There seem to be a lot of new releases with two balance wheels connected with differentials like the new Chopek. Do these non do you like these non-resonance watches? I like a lot of non. I mean, most watches I like are not resonance watches. Um, there. I mean, a lot of uh, uh, dual barrels. The thing about dual barrels that I like a lot are your dual barrels in parallel because they address constant force. That's what I like about them. The dual barrels in serial address the length of how long the reserve. That will increase your reserve, but I'd rather have one that increase the constant force. Bella, let's see. They didn't see it coming because they thought it was just being an influencer. He grew up poor, so he clearly did anything. Who is this? I'm not sure who you mean, Bella. Abdul, it was apparent to anyone with some critical thinking watching his behavior. Who are you talking about? I'm missing something here. They didn't. Let me see. I'm missing something. Let me get my thing over here. Um, no. There seemed to be a lot of new releases with two balance wheels. Okay. Bella, they didn't see. Bella, who are you talking about? I'm missing this. Anyway, okay. Good morning. Oh, it's Water Doggy. How you doing there? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're having a great day. Oh, it's a beautiful day. After lunch, my wife and I are going to go for one of our hikes. It's nice enough to do that. We went down. They put in a bike and a hiking path not far from where we are, which is really cool because then you don't have to dodge cars. And we went for this walk, and we came to this snowy patch that was in the shade all the time, and the snow hadn't melted, and that's awfully dicey. Fortunately, it wasn't icy, but it was close to it, and that can be very dangerous. And so, but today and yesterday was good. It was up to 60 degrees, so all the snow was cleared away, and we'll have it today. And then at midnight tonight, for the ball dropping in New York City, it's going to be rain. That's oh, gee. Someday I'd like to go to that. We went to the Thanksgiving Macy's parade once with the big balloons and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. But doing it once is enough because the crowds are just unbelievable. And tonight at New Year's Eve, there's some other things that they have at midnight in New York that I just found out about. I may go to. I think it's on. I don't know what. I don't know if it's every midnight or just certain times that they have in Times Square. They have all these artists with all of these different artworks and stuff that they have, and so like each night will be a different artist, and they put up all this stuff, and all of the light signs in Times Square all go to the same artwork. That I'd like to see. Looking for, let's see. Jose got a great watch. Michael, looking for an H. Moser Pioneer, but want to try it in the flesh. Unfortunately, nearest stores, Miami and Naples. Wow. I mean, that's not, I don't know how far you are, Michael, from Miami and Naples, but sounds like you're not that far. Canadian Watch Monkey. Too often I buy a watch with the full intentions of selling a piece or two to find it. The problem is I never sell them. I tell you, I think I'm going to have probably near the beginning of the year tomorrow, sometime, I have these two really good watches that I'll probably sell to get this other watch that I want. And in fact, I either have two or three. I had this one that Phillips kept. My what is it? A Beauvais monoretropont, which I like, but I just wasn't ever using it anymore. So I thought, well, I'll sell it and make up some room. And then a couple other ones I want to sell, so I'll have room for this other one. So I'll do that after. That's one of my plans. Yes, yeah. Sometimes that's is tough. Doc Flutie. I messed up all of 2022 doing that. Hey, KAM. How would you rank the finishing on H. Moser movements on a scale of 1 to 10 being the best? I want to add a center second streamliner to the collection, but I'm thinking I can go after a gondola with a Geneva seal. Wow, you talk about good choices all around. Um, oh boy, I like the finishing on my two H Mosers is really good. They're both hand wound. They're both sort of, I think, early 21st century, like they're from the teens or the aughts from that era. And finishing is great on the new ones. I don't have a new one. Some it looks like there's really great finishing, and others it's pretty standard finishing. So I don't know for sure. Anybody got anything on that for Cam? Hey Ramstein, happy Thanksgiving. Happy New Year's to you too. My bad is it's a Roger Dubuis Easy Diver. It's listed on Yahoo auctions. It's a 300 meter. You know, the Easy Diver. I had an Easy Diver. It's another good watch. I mean, it's a big boy. That thing is something that you comes in handy in a bar fight. So you want to have, if you want a big one, pop, yeah, Easy Diver. It's also, I don't know, somehow I think the movement in the Easy Diver is a work of art, and that's why I like it so much. You got 50 watches. I got half that, maybe. Cam, for the piece of the H. Moser Streamliner, ooh, wow, I personally thinking the finishing could be a little better hand finishing. I like everything about the Streamliner, but I think if I was trying, I don't remember trying one on. I was at the Watch Time show and they had some there, but I tried on the one with the retrograde seconds instead. But I do like the Streamliner. That's a nice one. You know, a few years ago, lots of years ago, about 30 years ago, Tiffany's had this series of stuff that was called their Streamliner, and my wife got me this sort of looks like a Tiffany's Boy Scout knife. And that thing, I've had that thing for years. This is gorgeous, streamlined looking. It looks like the sort of an airplane, a aluminum airplane with the rivets and stuff from the streamliner area. But it's really a big old fat Boy Scout knife. So I like streamliner as a style. Okay, let's see. Yes, it's a 36 millimeter full of diamonds. It's a ladies' watch, but has shooting star movement that activates randomly. It appears that and disappears. Oh, wow. Wow, RM. That does sound cool. But 90 something thousand bucks for that. That is way too much for me. I mean, if you're going to get a $90,000 watch, get a Roger Dubuis if you can find one. Hi, Richard. 2024 is my first FP Journ year. Ooh, what kind did you get, Richard? Lease time. Hey, how are you, lease time? I am deaf and I do not speak English. Yeah. Well, I'm deaf, which is true, but I speak a little English. That's, and my Spanish is terrible. I love speaking Spanish. When I do it enough, I can actually do it right. But I I screw it up so badly. I like French and German. I like all language. I love to speak Mandarin, Chinese, you name it. But I am terrible with languages. I have no I computer languages. I can pick those up in an afternoon, but I don't know what it is. Hi, Alriza. How you doing? Happy New Year to you too. We got 8 degrees Celsius plus again. Now snow other than the first week, no snow other than the first week of December here in Hamburg. So 8 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that would be. That would be pretty cool. I'd be in the 40s in Fahrenheit. Andrew, let's see. It's past the half hour. I'm not sure. Oh, this is unplanned, so I can go on. I get a longer leash on this one, Andrew. It's only on the ones that I have on Saturday that I've got the. uh, a good New Year to you. Hey, thanks, Velvia, man. Doc, I have a LUC Chopard Skull One with wow, that's if it's the one I'm thinking of, that is really something. Didn't that isn't that the one that won a Grand Prix award, Doc? Boy, I don't know. That's one thing I sort of more or less I sort of knew about LUC for years, but I didn't. And always when someone asked me about what do you think about Chopard, I'd say get an LUC, but I don't know the details often, like what kind of constant force do they have and things like that. Those things are important to know. For 2025, Finnegan's going to be finishing my final project for my engineering degree. I can't go into too much detail, but I hope it's a 50-foot robotic woman. That would be call her the boss. Oh, sounds like fun. Uh, when when I was teaching at the university, we had the guys on our floor. I was with the oh God, what do we call it? The sort of an internet programming group, and then there was a CS, and then there were the engineers, and they'd have these robots running up and down the hallway. So I think they're cool. Going to be modifying a movement to be very high frequency and wanting to do a case and dial in the 50s, 60s styles. I'll let you know when I finish it. Okay, that sounds interesting. Ali, let's see. What I learned this year in my watch journey is to save money and buy a watch I really want instead of buying a bunch of Casio and Seiko. Yeah, yeah, I know. You know, one watch that I've been tempted to get. My buddy and I, we go to New York every now and then, and we'll head down to 47th Street or go to one of the watch shops on Madison or Fifth Avenue. But one I found out about, there's a shop in, I don't know if it's in there are three shops that are sort of the Swatch luxury brands. Blank Pond, Breguet, and Harry Winston. They're all three together. And there may be one that has that blue lagoon. They have all of these different oceans. And there's one that's called Oceans of Storm, and they're like $400. They got a System 51 movement. They're not a watch I would normally get, but I thought, man, the Sea of Storms, that sounds cool. Sea of Storms is on the moon. There's a area called Sea of Storms. I always wonder what I can see the first land mooning was in the Sea of Tranquility, but they chose the Sea of Storms. I bet I know why they didn't land there. But I thought that would be cool to have one of those watches. But I don't know. I mean, that's just sort of like you said, instead of buying sort of inexpensive watches that for immediate gratification, I'm trying to think, what would I do with that watch? I'd probably wear it when it was icy outside. I don't know, but it's just I guess it's sort of a fun watch, but it has a lot of interest. It has an interesting story behind it. The only thing I don't like about the Moon Sea of Storm, this dark color. I like the bluer ones rather than the Sea of Storms look. I don't know, but it's cool too. I don't know. Anybody else do anything irresponsible beside our normal behavior? Yeah, Ali, what you're doing is smart. What I'm talking about is like, let's see if I could do something even more stupid. Hey, at least I'm 8 degrees C is about 46 Fahrenheit. Hey, you guys are having a warm day too. That's what we go out. We went out yesterday. We went to the grocery store, and this is New England, or at least where we are in New England, is that it was the high, I think, was 60, maybe 59, 60. And these girls were all wearing shorts. And I thought, what are you thinking about? I mean, like, there's one thing, but they was, oh, it's short weather. I don't think. Hey, how you doing, Brian? Good to see you. Kim, speaking of FP Journ, I heard a lot of people got the email for an allocation in the first quarter of 2025. My boutique even called me to reconfirm my wish list. Seems like demands is going down. Yeah, I bet that it is. Maybe the price will go down too. I hope so. That'd be nice. If it went back to what I got mine for originally, that would be really nice. I'd be tempted to get another one, but I just don't see it. Due to the election, watch investors might be getting back into real estate and other investments with better returns, which is good for us. Yeah, KAM, Cam, I don't see collecting watches as an investment. I don't know. I think you might as well invest in oil wells. um, I've been very fortunate, but it wasn't because I was investing. It was because I wanted a certain movement in a watch, and that made all the difference in the world. Not because I was trying to invest in it. Look what happened to Hodinkee. They almost went broke because at right after the pandemic, when prices were sky high, they decided it was a good idea to buy a bunch of watches, and then they got stuck with them. Not a I just I don't know. That some people like to do that. I know investment-wise, I don't know. Hi from Phoenix. How you doing, Watch Mike? How are things in Phoenix? I bet they're nice and warm there today. EA, how you doing? Will you do a state of collection? Yeah, but I already had one for 2024, so I'll probably have another one in about 6 months. Then I'll see what I have because there's maybe more than that. What watch am I wearing today? This is my Chanel Monsieur Caliber Chanel 1. Jumping hours and retrograde minutes. Sort of hard. I can't get that. There it is. This watch, I just love this watch. This is one of these watches. But see, I never mind. There's all of these watches I really really like and have no plan on ever selling. Um, and the ones I am selling is only to get one I like better. That's that I would really like a lot. I don't see the price coming down to where they started, but a correction is in order, especially hype watches, sports cars, and luxury items. Instead of a watch, you should be a Vostok and get a Vostok Amphibia. They're really interesting design. They've been making unchanged watches. You know, I have a pole jack alarm, and that thing works fine. That's that's sort of all from that era I care for right now. They have fully in-house 31 jewel movement and a hand painted dial. Yeah, no, they're cool. I just not what I'm looking at. Doc, I sold my JLC Polaris to get my Langa. I wanted to add a JLC back into the collection, but I think the first watch for 2025 is going to be an IWC engineer. Andrew, I have a browser tab permanently open on the platinum version of your Chanel. I am so tempted. My God, the prices, these things are crazy priced. Um, I think really one of the things, I don't think collectors really, who are really into watch collection, got one of these because it's by Chanel. That, oh boy, something that Coco Chanel dreamed up before she kicked the bucket. But rather because of Roman Gauthier. He was the guy, and all of the parts are Roman Gauthier parts, and he helped the developers with the design. I think that's really what's behind it. But man, I tell you, and service is incredible for these watches, so I'm happy with it. A platinum one would probably, mine is, I got the cheap version. It's white gold. Hi, Glee, or Gleo. Happy New Year to you too. The pole jot alarm is a copy of the Vulcan cricket. I didn't know that. I had no idea. Thanks, Finnegan. Allie, what do you think of watchmaking coming back to the U.S. with guys like Joshua Shapiro? Let me pass on that one. I think watchmaking in the U.S. is more reflected better by RGM, Roland Murphy. There's another guy in California who makes movements. I I would like to see a really interesting movement by Shapiro. I don't know if he does those or not, but I mean I sort of watchmaking coming back to the U.S. It depends how it comes back. I'll put it that way. I mean, if somebody cranked up Waltham watches again with the kind of quality and everything they had when they first started, that'd be one thing. Um, I think Roland Murphy using some old Hamiltons and things like that when they were a U.S. brand. I don't know what, um, like I said, I would love to see somebody who could really put together something with a a remontoire égalité or a resonance watch or double barrels in parallel in parallel, something like that. That I'd really like to see, but you know, that's what I think would be important. I don't. I think some of the watches that Roland Murphy has, like the one I like is a Corps of Engineers, it's a cool watch. The movement, so I think he has two versions. One was a movement that he did, and then it has another one. I think that something else in it. He's an interesting guy. I really like his stuff. Um, Other things I'm sort of reserved on. RGM does such amazing movements, and their finishing is top notch. It's a shame they don't get much recognition like the early 2000s. Like I said, he's a guy whose stuff I like, and I don't know what Roland Murphy's. You know, if you went to Central Casting and said, "Give me a guy who looks like a watchmaker," the last guy they would pick would be Roland Murphy. He doesn't look like a watchmaker. He looks like a guy who's sort of working the assembly line at Ford or something like that. Real down to earth, solid guy. That's why I like him. It's just there doesn't seem to be any errors or overstatements by him. Just sort of a solid, like a regular guy. Um, Trying to think, there's some people who I think are good self promoters, and they're people who are good watchmakers, and oftentimes they're not the same. Um, the quiet ones who are doing really remarkable work are the ones that would interest me, and that's what I try to find. There are a couple guys that uh, Betterman or something like that. There are these two guys. They're sort of German Swiss, I think, who are Peterman, and somebody else. Boy, the watches they make are fantastic, but they're like way up here. Same thing with this French guy uh, who makes watches with the key wound. I never can remember his name, but I remember him. He's also one of the youngest guys who became a member of uh, the independent group that F.P. Jorn and Philippe Dufour and all these top independents are in. So, those are the guys and he's doing interesting stuff. See, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, this is one of the weirdest things that I ran into. There are a lot of people who have George Daniel's book, Watchmaking. There are very few people who read it. Okay. They use it, from what I understand, talking to watchmakers, they use it as a reference book. And to me, it's like, yeah, it's definitely a reference book, but it's also a book that sort of reveals a lot about George Daniels. And I'm reading away. And one of the funniest things that I realized that he doesn't like the keyless works. Who could blame him, really? Because there's just all this junk in there that you got to put up with. And so a key wound watch makes a lot of sense. And I believe that all of the watches in that book that he has are keyless. He may have something about keyless works, but I mean, the ones he has are not keyless, but they're key wound. And so you take the old key, you wind it up, put the key away, and then you got a nice, a watch without as much junk. Okay, I'll call it that. Your keyless works is one that always gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I'd rather not deal with it. But I most of us don't have a choice in that matter. Uh, but it's an interesting part. If somebody got, that might be a fun thing to do. You're going to be the expert on keyless mechanisms in a watch, and I would love to see somebody come along and say, "Hey, I figured out a way that we can have a better keyless works. Takes up less room. It's easier to work. It's fewer parts." Man, now that would be some excellent mechanical horology. Okay, what else are you guys up to here? Yeah, Brian, that's right. He's the guy you sit down with and talk about beers. He's the kind of guy I could sit down with and shut up and just listen to him. He's got so many good stories. He's got a great story that he'll only tell you part of about Jean-Pierre Jacquet and the 736 movement. He bought a bunch of those in right like 1999, 2000, right in that period. And he had a number of watches with that movement in it. And so I knew that. And so I was talking to him at the Watch Time show one day. And so I said, wow, let's talk about that. So he started talking, but there's a certain point he didn't want to say anything else. It was a lot of people are that way when you start talking about what they know about Jean-Pierre Jacquet. Interesting story. I gotta say, that is still, even though most of the work that they did at Jacquet SA was taken in an iBoche and making movements, and they sold the movements as sort of like already ready so that a watch company didn't have to take the iBoche and put it together. But he did some, I think, that 736 with a shape movement, and I think he used, and I'm guessing that he used an ETA 7001 hand wound, beautiful, just great. You can see it all. Let's see. The 3 a.m. here. So I've got to go. Finnegan, thanks for dropping by. Andrew, Pascal Koyan. No, that's not it. That's it, Thomas. It's Cyril Bevet Nadeau. He's one of them. But there's another guy that has a name that's really easy to remember. I remember his last name is Cools, Cools. Like I forgot his first name, but he's another one of these young guys. Nadeau, he's one. Cools is another. Pascal Koyan is another. So these guys, I think, are very important for us to keep an eye on, because I think they're really the future of, if you want to see where watchmaking is going, they're the guys to keep an eye on. Unfortunately, they're wise to the game, and so when their first watches they came out, they were selling those things for 30, 40, 60,000 Swiss francs. So they're Remy, that's right, Remy Cools. He's another guy. Peterman Bedat, that's it. Those are the guys, Dimitri, thank you. Ali, if I gave you 10,000 gift to buy yourself a watch, what watch are you going to buy? I'd buy a half a watch. Oh, I know the watch I'd buy, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. There's a friend of mine who's going to sell me a watch. He better anyway. Even after I tell you guys, if I had $10,000, the watch I would get is a Roger Dubuis Monesque. Monesque. I don't know how to say it. That's what I do with that $10,000. So that's my answer. Hi, neglected Arcadian. There's so few neglected Arcadians left. Have you ever met F.P. Journe in person, and do you think the recent rumors about him are true? First of all, I have met him in person, had one of the greatest meetings ever. Um, I had my resonance watch, and I bought it without any papers or any boxes or anything from a guy on 47th Street. And so I handed it to him and I said, "What do you think of this?" And so he's looking at it, and then he carries a loop in his pocket. So he takes his old loop and looks at it, and he was looking at it, turning it over and winding it and doing everything with it. And I'm sitting there thinking, "Uh-oh, he's going to tell me." He said, "Boy, this is a fake." But he didn't. He said, "This thing is in incredibly good shape." He said, "This is a really good one. It's really super nice to me." And but other people I've met have had other opinions. So it depends, I guess. There's another guy whose stuff I really like, and was told by somebody who knows the guy personally. He just sort of turned into a mean old buzzard. Okay. Um, I don't want to say an old buzzard because all these old buzzards that I know of are younger than I am. So like he's just a buzzard, but it didn't matter to me. There are a lot of people who have very poor social skills, but are really great watchmakers. Now, on the other hand, some have both. The time that I spent when I was in Geneva with um, Jean-Marc Wiederreck, the first guy to ever win the GPHD Watchmaker of the Year, and has probably mechanisms and movements in more award-winning watches than anybody. This guy is charming. He's great. We had a ball together. And we spent a lot of time together. And then he took me and my wife on a tour of old Geneva. So you have people who are, and another thing, when we were going different places, these people would come up off the street. It seemed like everybody knew them. On the other hand, some people like F.P. Journe, I know people who've had really great times. They all go get drunk together. That was, and others who are like, this guy is just a real pain. So who knows? I don't know. Yeah, so I met him in person, had a very good experience. Yeah, Remy Cools. He's another guy. So this is a good news, though. You got to remember that back at the turn of the 21st century, all of the guys now who are considered the greats were just getting started, like F.P. Journe, Vianney Halter, uh, Beat, Haldeman. I probably said it wrong. All of these guys, they all were sort of the young Turks at that time. Now they're like the establishment. And now before that, there were a group of people who were working with established companies like Roger Dubuis and uh, Jean-Marc Wiederreck and Daniel Roth. All of these guys were like, Roth was working. He was the one who really brought Breguet out of the hole. He worked for the Chomet brothers when they owned Breguet for about a decade, and the watches he made were a total turnaround from what was left of Breguet. Breguet, when the Chomet brothers took over Breguet, they just had like a few of their military contracts left, and so they were making these old divers and things like that, or not divers, but military watches, Fliegers, and so forth. But so you have these guys, and now you know, I don't think there's sort of been a revival of Daniel Roth by LVMH. And so but they're really expensive. Okay, let's see. just before I go to the JLC Master Compressor Extreme Lab, 2 had a pusher and a column wheel to change the functions of the crown. Really interesting alternative to traditional keyless works. Yeah. Oh, listen, it's talking about grumbling about keyless works sounds like an old crank. Okay. I don't, it just rather, if you have, I don't know how many people have uh, ever got George Daniel's Watchmaker book, but it's like one of those ones you can, you're not doing anything. You can pick it up and turn to a page, and there'll be something fascinating there. But oftentimes, like way up here, and some people have had it for years and never really read much of it. Okay, guys. A lot of prospective AHCI members will be future big shots. Absolutely, Abdul. There's a woman there for the first time too, and her stuff, the stuff that she does, has looked very interesting. Well, look, I've been on this for about an hour. Even my wife will run out of patience on that one. So, anyway, wishing everybody a happy new year, and let's have a whole lot of fun with watches in 2025. Those who are there, those who are living in tomorrow. This is a message from yesterday. Take care. See you later.